This is Beyond the Moon, a Ditch Witch podcast where we dig deep into news, job site stories, Ditch Witch culture, and all the other dirt that makes up the industry.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Moon, a Ditch Witch podcast. I'm your host, Sean Hubbard, and I'm joined with who we refer to as the new guy around the office, Tim Vaughan. How are you, Tim?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. I'm glad you're here. We're going to jump right in with Tim, but first I wanted to say thank you to Precision Underground Utilities up in Iowa. They helped us out with some marketing efforts earlier this year in celebration of our 75th. So in 1949, our founder, Ed Malzahn, invented the first service line trencher, as Tim knows. And we've been doing a year-long campaign to really celebrate that 75 years of partnership with a lot of our great customers. So Precision agreed to partner with us, and they worked with Ditch Witch of Minnesota and Iowa with Weston Pfeiffer and Ken Hamilton and the guys up there. So I just wanted to say thanks. Those videos are awesome, and it really does tell the story of what we're all about. It's about partnerships. It's about relationships, and that dealership at Ditch Witch of Minnesota and Iowa and the utility contractor Precision, they've been working together forever, and it's a great relationship, and we were able to put out some awesome content. So thank you guys for doing that. But to the star of the show today, Mr. Vaughan, I wanted to open up and play a quick little game. I tongue-in-cheek said that you're the new guy of the office. But if you've ever been to a wedding and they have dances, right, and they'll ask all the couples to go out and dance. So before we get into this, I'm not going to ask you to dance. That's not where we're going with this.
Okay.
But they'll say, if you've been married for 5 years or longer, keep dancing. If not, go sit down. And then they'll say 10 years, go sit down, right? So we're going to do something similar. How long have you been at Ditch Witch? Okay, so when I get to a number that you haven't been, then you're going to just let me know you're out. Okay, and I'm going to play with you. So raise your hand or say yes if you've been if you've been at Ditch Witch for more than 1 year.
Yes.
Yep, that's me too. Raise your hand or say yes if you've been at Ditch Witch for more than 5 years.
Yes.
Yep, me too. Raise your hand or say yes if you've been at Ditch Witch for more than 10 years.
Yes.
I'm out. Okay, how about 15 years?
Yes.
25 years?
Yes.
35 years?
Yes.
45 years?
Yes.
50 years?
Yes.
51 years?
No.
Oh, we reached the limit. We're coming up on 51 years, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tim has been with the company for 50 years in April, so 50 and a half now. So I wanted to ask you, you started in April in 1974.
Right.
So what was Tim Vaughan doing in March of 1974?
Working for the state highway, painting signs.
Oh, so you're doing painting stuff there too?
Yeah, painting signs.
Let's talk about your upbringing a little bit. Where are you from? How did you come to Ditch Witch? How did all this take place?
Well, we lived in and around Perry. Dad moved around a lot. I was born in Marshall, Oklahoma.
Okay.
We lived in Covington, Billings, Mulhall, and moved to Perry. I liked Perry.
Didn't stray too far from Perry, though.
No,
those are all smaller communities.
Too far, no. When I got out of high school in Billings, I moved back to Perry.
And you were a football player?
Yes.
And maybe I think I just learned that you played tennis, too. Did you play for the high school or just kind of dabble around in that?
Just fun,
Something to do as a hobby.
Yeah.
So you start in, now here we are in April 1974. Why was Ditch Witch something you were interested in?
Well, that was a place to go, and it paid more money than anybody else in town.
Money talks, doesn't it?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody at State Highway was going out there, and I followed them out there.
Were you hoping to get on the paint line? Or what job were you looking for?
That didn't make any difference, It just happened. They needed painters.
Let's talk about the hiring process a little bit in 1974. Now we have recruiters that don't even live in Oklahoma, and we're sending emails and resumes and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You, I believe, sat down with our founder, Ed Malzahn.
Right, yeah. You had to go see Ed first, and then you had to go through Bernard Hepler. It wasn't easy to get on back then. You had to keep calling him. I called him all the time.
He's like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still here.
You got an opening,
Right.
So finally they did hire me.
So what was that like? So Ed was a little more than a little bit of a legend. He was a big deal in Perry, still is a big deal in Perry.
Right.
What was it like as a new guy, a young guy, coming in and meeting with the head sprocket.
He's just like any ordinary other guy, you know. He never made you feel uncomfortable. He just like local Perry man, you know.
Yeah. You were telling me, too, on the way up here, part of your interview process, he told you to do something a little bit unique.
Yeah, he said squeeze his hand, you know. Squeeze it hard as you can, you know.
You're like, so I this did. Man's crazy. Yeah, what were you thinking when he said squeeze my hand?
I didn't know how hard to squeeze it, but he said squeeze it hard as you can, so I did.
What was the test on that?
Just to see if you had strength in your hands to do the work, you know.
Because it's a tough job.
Yeah, at that time, there wasn't a lot of automation like they have now.
But when you started back in the mid-'70s, was it, were you busy all day? Did you have a spray can? Like, because I go back there now and I see you guys in like spacesuits and it's a highly technical, advanced type of stuff. Like, what was it 50 years ago?
Basically the same. They had automation booths. They had spray guns, electronic, where it helps you paint better.
Right.
But they were a little cruder than they are now.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
They was plug-in paint guns.
Oh.
You had electrical wire on it. Now they don't have electrical wire.
So you're a little more mobile.
Yeah, they have a little generator inside the gun where you ain't pulling around electrical wire.
Okay.
They was pretty heavy, electrical wire and a hose.
That's why you need a strong grip.
Yeah, that's why you need strong grip.
Yeah.
You know, squeeze that gun 100,000 times.
Yeah, that'll do it. Did you know what you were painting, or was this just a black piece of steel coming across and you were painting it orange?
Well, they didn't have that many models, so you know,
right.
You knew what it was, what machine it was, and what parts it was.
So do you know what you're painting now?
Well, mostly, yeah.
How do you figure that out?
There's a lot of parts I don't know what they are.
There's a lot of parts I don't know what they are.
New parts come down the line all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly I do. You know, they use basically a panel or something like that, or sprocket or hydraulic motor.
Okay.
So a lot of it's easily identifiable.
There's just a conveyor belt, essentially, that's got parts hanging. Do you know what those are? Do they tell you what's coming? Do they tell you how many parts you've got? Just walk me through what you're thinking and what you're doing all day.
We have a stand-up meeting. They tell us how many parts we painted the night before, usually 2,000 to 3,000 parts a day.
2,000 to 3,000 parts a day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you told me that. I met you earlier this summer for the first time, and we talked a little bit about it, and you gave that as a kind of a conservative estimate, and I did a quick little math project to figure out how many parts that would be over a 5-day working week for 50 years, and it was some 26 million parts.
Yeah.
Is that hard to believe, easy to believe?
Well, 50 years, not really, because a lot of parts go through there.
Yeah. That's a lot of parts.
Yeah.
Is the 50 years of experience hard to believe? I mean, does it drag on? Was it fast?
It's fast, you know. It seemed like it was that long ago.
At any point over the last 4 or 5 decades, did you want to go try something else at Ditch Witch? Did you want to try your hand at being a podcast host, or did you?
No, I thought about being a welder. I tried that a little bit.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Went to welding school. I didn't like that.
No, why not?
I like painting better.
Okay.
Like I say, welding's really probably the toughest job they got out there, and it's hot.
Yeah. So is it hot when you're painting?
Yeah, kind of, except for when you're wearing that air-conditioned hood. You got a little hood you wear on. It feels just like air conditioning. Really coolest job out there.
You do it all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here I was thinking you're some tough guy. You're just standing in a spacesuit that's air conditioned.
Yeah. It's nice. You have a suit on so you don't get very dirty.
If I were to go out there today and try to do your job, how quickly would I be fired? And 2, what types of things would they point out that goes, oh, that's not right?
Well, some people just have a natural knack for it right off the back, but most people, they make a lot of runs.
Yeah.
They don't get enough paint on it, you know. But they're real patient with people. It takes a while to learn that.
I gotcha. How much work is there to fix it? So you get a dummy like Sean Hubbard out there who just applies 7 gallons of paint for a little part, and now it's just running off of there.
It's a lot of work to fix it.
Yeah. What is that process? If something's wrong?
You sand off all the run.
Okay.
Or sometimes it has a hole in the metal, and you patch it. You have to sand the whole thing. Then you just send it back down through the line again.
Start over.
Yeah.
So what measures go into like quality to make sure that this is done right and it looks good and it's going to operate the way it's supposed to?
Well, if your equipment's working right, it's usually not that big a deal. Just make sure your gun's got a good tip in it.
Yep. Don't
spray too much paint and make runs on it and stuff like that, you know.
I got you. So we had a big event earlier this summer at AEM, Association of Equipment Manufacturers, came through and they were taking a tour. And during that event, we broke ground. We had Governor Stitt there.
Yeah.
And he came out and helped put a shovel in the ground and break ground on this new 170,000 square foot paint facility.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that? Is it, I mean, obviously it's awesome. It's a great investment by our parent company, the Toro Company. They see the value and the need for it. But from a guy that's been painting orange iron for 50 years,
yeah,
what does that look like when you look out the back window there and you can envision what that's going to be?
Well, I think they'll have a lot fewer mistakes. Some of it's powder coat.
Yeah.
Powder coat's easier to paint than it's mostly automated, the powder coat. But the regular paint booth is going to make it easier on the painting the big equipment. They have to do a lot of bending over.
Yeah.
And go down the pit and paint the bottom of that stuff. But they'll be on booms, the way I understand it.
I see.
So they go up and down underneath of it.
Are we thinking that's going to increase quality or efficiency or quantity or everything?
Yeah, definitely going to see quality.
And you know how construction projects go. Sometimes they're on time.
Right.
Not often. But this one is scheduled to be completed, I think, in early 2027.
Right.
Do you envision yourself being out there in the new facility and painting in there in, what's that, 2 years?
I don't think that far ahead.
No?
Just one day at a time with me.
Yeah, you see yourself painting tomorrow.
I could be, yeah.
But you really enjoy painting.
I do, yeah.
When you're not painting Ditch Witch parts, do you enjoy, like, are you a creative painter? Do you want to sit down with an easel and a paintbrush and paint?
No, I don't want to do that, no.
No? So did you paint your own house?
Yeah, I'll do that. I paint my own house.
As long as you can spray it, you'll do it?
Yeah.
So what do you like to do? What are Tim Vaughan's hobbies?
Well, I like to do gardening and hunting and fishing. I like riding motorcycles.
Yeah, you were telling me you ride your bike to work every day.
Yeah, every day, yeah.
What kind of bike do you have?
It's a Kawasaki 650.
I got you. So you can go.
Yeah, it's fast.
Do you ever take it out on the highway and open it up?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah?
I take the long way home.
I would too. What's the, I don't know if we can say this legally, what's the top speed you've been on? Don't incriminate yourself. 65. Just kidding.
It'd go 120, but I never had it up there.
Yeah, I'd make a mess of myself if I was going 120 on that for sure. So I did want to play a little game with you here as we wrap up today. And I've given Tim an agenda, some of the things I wanted to talk about, and his just says question of the day. So he doesn't know what's coming, so we'll see how this goes. But I have 5 food items written down, and I want you to rank them from your favorite, number 1, to your least favorite, number 5, without knowing what the next one's coming. Okay, barbecue ribs.
1.
Oh, me too. That's my favorite. Tacos.
That'd be number 2.
Oh, we got you in order. Sushi.
No, 0.
25.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. We'll put you down as a 5 on that one. Spaghetti and meatballs.
4.
4, and then you're left with, I think you're going to like it, a ribeye steak.
Oh, yeah.
It leaves you at number 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad list. We got barbecue ribs, tacos, ribeye steak, spaghetti and meatballs, every other food in the history of the world, and then followed by sushi. Is that pretty much the gist of it?
Yeah. I never have got into that sushi.
No. My wife and I will eat, we call it sushi, but I call it like kindergarten sushi. I can't eat just like a slab of raw fish on a roll. It's like fake crab meat.
Oh, yeah.
And tempura shrimp, like cooked shrimp.
Yeah.
And then douse it in soy sauce. So I'm pretty much just eating a rice ball.
Yeah.
But it's kind of sushi.
Yeah. It might be good. I might try it sometime.
Yeah, we'll give it a go. You can use some of the vegetables in your garden to top it off.
Right, yeah.
Well, good deal, Tim. Hey, I appreciate you hopping on today.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed your time, and hopefully we'll get you in that new paint facility.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Stay tuned next week, and we'll see you then. Thanks.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of Beyond the Moon. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform and follow us on social media @DitchWitch.